Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. We are here on the beautiful coastline of Koh Samui, and today we have another triathlon and endurance training video, and it comes from a question in the Discord chat, and this is a very common thing that I found with a lot of people, so I would like to read this question to you. I don't know if this would be an issue, but I have trouble getting my body used to so much exercise. After a week of 4 or 5 days of exercise, I feel like I need a week off because I get sick. Are there any tips on how to prepare your body for this or something similar? Okay, so this is something that happens all the time with people who just dive straight into triathlon. So the first thing that needs to be taken into account is what is our background. So what is our background in endurance sports, in suffering, in sports in general, in being athletic? And that is the first paramount thing, because we need to be very honest with ourselves and understand where we are coming from. So what a target volume could be, not what we want it to be, but what it could be. We need to train where we are at, not where we would like to be. I'm guilty of this. This happened to me. I thought I'm going to be a triathlete. I started training like a triathlete, and that was way too much. So the first thing that I would think of is consistency. The most important thing is not to be able to string 4 or 5 days of exercise one after the other, but it is to be able to do 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, 3 months of exercise. Consistent exercise without taking big breaks. 1 day off, 2 days off, 3 days off, yeah, that's okay, but it needs to be a volume and an intensity that is manageable for us to do day after day and back an effort up with another effort. And this might look like really small efforts in the beginning. Like forget running 10K, but it might be running 4 kilometers, half an hour. Well, personally, I always go by time. I never go by distance, because distance is meaningless. Both on the bike and on running, distance is meaningless, because if you go for a hilly ride, you do 30 kilometers, it just doesn't make sense. Whereas for running, going by time is better, also for the same reason, because you might have a hilly route. It might be like uneven terrain. You need to, maybe you're on a trail run. So just going by time makes more sense. So what I would do would be to figure out how much time per week in the grand scheme of things I can handle. Not how much I want to do, how much I can handle. And to do this, of course, I would start really low with a low volume of training, maybe half an hour a day, which can already be enough for a new person who is getting into this world. Hell, it was enough for me. Like I would swim half an hour, I would be cooked in the beginning. And I would run half an hour, I would be cooked, absolutely. So that is the first thing that I would try and do. I would try and figure out the minimum viable volume of training that allows me to keep it consistent. Consistency is the name of the game. The most important thing is consistency. That's what I found. The second thing that I would look at would be how my life is structured. So if I have a very stressful life, this is for sure going to impact my training. Or even the worst case scenario, which I think is what is happening in this question, training is a stress. So if we have work life, family life, which are all stresses on our body, and we add training on top, this might be too much for our body to handle. So it's not that our body can handle 5 or 7 hours of training per week, but our body can handle a total amount of stress per week. So we need to be mindful of this. And unfortunately, there are no quick solutions for this, because one would be to just quit your job, and that is something that most often is not an option. But other things might be to approach work in a different way, or approach things that stress us in a different way, like maybe with a more positive mental attitude and that kind of stuff. That might help. Another big thing that I would look into is diet and nutrition. Oftentimes, and this personally happened to me, I was coming from a past in which I had tried a thing called intermittent fasting. So I wouldn't eat breakfast. And what happened was I dove straight into triathlon and endurance training, not even long course, like Olympic distance volume kind of training. In my mind, I didn't even make the connection that intermittent fasting maybe wasn't really conducive to this lifestyle. So I kept on doing it. And what happened is after some months, I really hit a wall. I hit a wall because in retrospect, now that I think about it, I was still skipping breakfast, but I had a training session early in the morning, and then I would have a second training session during the day. This could have been at lunchtime, which sometimes I also went fasted at the lunchtime session, which if I think about it is crazy. It's mental that I did that. Or it might have been in the afternoon, but I would have only eaten lunch, which wasn't that many calories up until that point. So I hit this wall because I physically wasn't consuming enough calories. I was not fueling my body enough to sustain the amount of training and life stress that was going on. And this, I discovered, happened because exercising, especially at a high intensity or highish intensity, blunts our appetite hormone. And this is something that I didn't know, so it blunts our appetite. And I wasn't feeling that hungry after I would train, so I would be training a lot. For my level, that would have been a lot of training. And I wasn't fueling nearly enough for that. I was still sticking to whole foods, plant-based, and I wasn't incorporating things like sugar, things like some processed foods now and then, because those foods can be a part of an athlete's life. It is really important to, first of all, nail the number of calories per day that we are eating, and then think about the sources of our foods. The sources of our foods, in my opinion and my personal experience, mostly are natural foods, unprocessed potatoes, buckwheat, rice, fruit, veggies, and all that kind of good stuff. But if I am stuck for time and I need to get some calories in because I need to sustain some training, I won't make any distinction between cornflakes, which are kind of like a processed food, versus sweet potato. That is not even a factor in my mind. One of the reasons why many professional athletes are not vegan is because being vegan is harder to do, as in sourcing foods when you are out traveling. That's the thing. When they are out traveling, an athlete doesn't want to be there thinking, oh, I can't find any vegan food here. They just want to get calories in. Calories for athletes are the most fundamental piece of the puzzle. They are the basis of anything we do in our lives. So that would be a big factor that I would look into. Are you under eating? And I would do this by tracking my calories for one day or a week, not every day, but for some period of time, with Cronometer app, which is a great app where it has so many different foods in that you can input, and the values are pretty spot on. So I would track all the food that I'm eating for a day and the exercise that I'm doing for a day or a week in Cronometer app and see what that comes out as. You might be lacking energy and falling into the slump because you're not having enough calories. Next, another thing that I would look into is sleep. Am I getting enough sleep? And by enough sleep, this is completely subjective for each and every individual person. This can change from person to person. In my case, after years of trying this out, I figured out that my perfect number is between 8 and 9 hours when I'm not training hard, like right now, and it is 9 hours when I'm training like full distance volume or long trail running volume or ultra endurance cycling volume. That is the thing. And I will make no sacrifices for sleep. I will not hang out with people. I will not go out in the evening. I will not even wake up too early in the morning. I will just prioritize sleep because it just makes me feel so good. It really refreshes me. It makes me recover fast and enables me to maintain my healthy lifestyle choices and my training day after day after day. And that is one of the key fundamental core things in my life. I really enjoy this lifestyle. So I will do anything that it takes to make it work. And this, in the case of the person who's asking this question, might be a big factor. Maybe they work late. Maybe they have to get up early to go to work, or maybe they're squeezing training sessions in the morning before going to work. And that, in my opinion, is a big no-no unless you can handle it. So in the vast majority of the cases, people who are stacking training sessions early in the morning, but are still going to bed like at a normal time, let's say 10:30, 11, but they're waking up at 6 to get a 1-hour turbo session done. That, in my opinion, is something that needs to be looked at because it is just maybe causing additional stress. So either going to bed earlier in the evening, 9 p.m. being in bed, to wake up for a 6 a.m. turbo session or a 6 a.m. bike ride, that can work and it can allow enough recovery. One other thing that ties in with sleep is consuming stimulants, so caffeine. I would look into stimulants and how many stimulants we're using throughout a day, and I would try at least and cut it back down to 1 coffee per day in the morning. Half an hour, 1 hour after waking up, after getting sunlight, after getting all those things that I've mentioned in countless other videos. 1 coffee per day, basically, or even better, just decaf coffee. It's the same thing, it doesn't change, for real. Trust me, try decaf and you'll never go back. A little recap of the things that I would do. Personally, I would maybe maintain the volume that I'm doing right now, but I would dial back the intensity. That is the first thing that I would do. Second thing I would do would be look into stress, work stress, life stress, all those different stresses and how they are impacting my life. Third thing that I would do would be look into nutrition, diet, check that I'm eating enough calories, check that I'm eating enough unprocessed, but also adding in processed foods. Fourth thing I would do would be sleep and stimulants. So yeah, another little video sharing my experience on this aspect of training, which is what happens when you train too much and your body can't handle it. What can we do about it? And I believe that anyone can find their personal training volume that perfectly fits in with their life, that complements their life, that makes it better, makes it more enjoyable, makes it more fun, more vibrant. And that this is specific to every single one. Only we can understand this through trial and error. So let me know how it goes. Let me know if you're struggling with this kind of stuff too, because I know I struggled with it and I had to make some changes in my life. Join the Discord chat if you want to chat with like-minded people who are into triathlon, fitness, health, and all that good stuff. Become a channel member if you want to chat with me at any time with all the questions that you want, keeping them private. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.